Oh my goodness. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Games with John and James show. I'm James.
I'm John.
And part of our new initiative is new news, quoting the New Heights podcast there. Thank you, Travis Kelce. God bless the Chiefs being in the Super Bowl. Showing my bias here. Again.
Yay.
The first Monday of every month, John and I are going to be giving you kind of a recap of what's been happening in recent gaming news, what to look forward to in this month. February's got quite a few releases, and we got a lot to talk about. But before we can actually talk about that, John, how have you been the past couple weeks?
How have I been the past couple of weeks? I've been doing pretty good. I went on a work trip to Los Angeles, beautiful Los Angeles. And I got to meet some old colleagues of mine. I even got to meet a friend of mine, an artist. He's an art mutual, like people I've known online for decades, just through social media and stuff. I actually got to meet him for the first time, and it was a lovely time. I got to go to Little Tokyo and eat some really bomb Japanese food.
Sounds like it was a fulfilling trip, even though you did not go to Erewhon. I am sad.
Well, we went to Sugarfish instead, and that was delicious. That was amazing. Like I honestly, when the rice is warm, because like the fish is just like ready and prepared, like that's how ready served it was. Dang, man, best $35 I ever spent.
What's that you say? I came back and made no money.
Mm. Well, and then my taxes. This is the most adult thing I'm going to talk about on this friggin' podcast. It's like, yeah, I did my taxes and they got accepted, so my return's coming. So that's going to give me some cash. So maybe I'll buy some of these new games that are coming out. I hear that the Suicide Squad game is a thing.
Hey! Hold your horses now.
Hay is for horses.
No, it's been a pretty chill week over here. I finished Forspoken the other day.
Oh, wow.
It is, I honestly enjoyed it. John was not a fan of it. He thought the loop kind of got old, wasn't a fan of the back and forth dialogue with the cuff. It's really, really fun.
It's a vambrace.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. See, I just proof that I actually played it.
No, I did 5 minutes. I
wish it was 5 minutes. I played for like 3 hours.
I enjoyed it. For me, I love to see the worlds, explore, and just kind of get lost in it. Similar to Horizon Zero Dawn, or Forbidden West, just exploring the world. So that was kind of nice. Finding the story nuggets in the various archives was really cool to like fully understand what was going on. Mm-hmm. It was actually really enjoyable, and I got the DLC, and I'm going to enjoy that this weekend.
Yeah, the only DLC you're going to get because that studio closed down immediately after the game came out. So
Square Enix, they got absorbed.
Whatever. It's just a fancy Japanese business way of saying, hey, you guys couldn't handle it on your own, so just come back into the family.
But I'm excited because this month is going to keep me going for many an hour. And when we come back, I'm going to let you know exactly why that is, and we're going to hit you with some pretty hard-hitting news. We've got game releases, a state of play, a company that blamed things on bloggers and said shit happens. And
I wonder who we're
more.
talking about. And also, I love how you're trying to play coy. It's going to be Final Fantasy VII. You know it's going to be Final Fantasy VII. We'll talk all about it after this musical break. Stick around, folks. burp. Get all your burps out and sneezes. And, oh god, just gotta power through it. Just gotta power through it for 40 minutes. Oh god.
Welcome back, everybody. So, there's been a lot of news and a lot of happening here recently, and February is set to be a pretty awesome and very stacked month this year. So what
stacked
happened?
Like two hands full.
Sony did their first state of play of the year, and that's honestly what we're going to break down for you first.
Oh boy, here we go.
Let's just dive right into this.
Let's just rip this Band-Aid off. Holy crap.
Wow. John went with Band-Aid. I was hoping he would be like, no, hell dive into this. But no, opened up with a trailer for Helldivers 2.
Mm-hmm. I remember actively discussing this with you before we started recording. I didn't know what the show opened up with because it felt so forgettable. Like, nah, whatever.
I mean, if you're a fan of kind of multiplayer shooters, kind of action style games, it's up your alley. It looks like it'll be fun, but right now, and this isn't to be negative on the game whatsoever. Like, I am sure the game is going to be a very enjoyable game, but the waters that are the video game industry right now are so diluted with shooter games that if this doesn't find a way to set itself apart, it's going to be one of those, hey, this was on my radar, I buy it. If it wasn't on my radar, I miss it until it goes on sale at Black Friday.
It's just proof that Sony is unwilling to try anything new or interesting because, my God, everything is a multiplayer shooter. Everything.
I mean, speaking of not trying anything new, we next got to see, and this is a little bit of contention from me, we got to see Sony's version of Splatoon, which launches February 6th. We got to see Foam Stars.
Yeah, and we knew this game was coming, and we knew what it was. At the same time, I love like the Sony version of Splatoon because even the people making the game are like, can people stop saying that, please?
So that's my beef with it because I immediately thought that. I am personally going to give it a try because it looks like it'll be fun. When it comes to multiplayer games or online games, I'm not the best at it. Like Worms Rumble was kind of my, oh, hey, I did good. And recently, Call of Duty Resurgence, been playing a lot of that.
So, what is Resurgence? Is that Warzone or?
So it's in Warzone, but the way it is, instead of going in with teams, you go in individually. If you die, you have a spawn counter. If you're killed before the counter resets, you're fully eliminated. So it's kind of like a last man standing version.
So you have limited lives. A video game that has lives in it. Wow.
Well, you have unlimited lives if you don't die repeatedly.
Right, but never mind. Next game, whatever.
So I'm going to give Foam Stars a try. I was actually surprised, everybody. John, would you like to try this game together?
Sure, we can do that. I have a lot of experience with Splatoon, so it might pay off. So
Suddenly, John is Diamond 1.
I just like the idea of being a big fish in a small pond because I'm wondering how many people are actually going to play this game.
Oh my goodness. So if you are one of the people who have the PlayStation VR 2, you got a couple cool things that came out. What looks to be a horror-style game set before the events of Metro 2033. You have Metro Awakening VR. And then you have a VR RPG in Legendary Tales.
I'm just looking at the screenshot of the trailer, like the thumbnail of the trailer, and it's just a skeleton, and I'm just like, yes, skeletons, yes, in VR.
I mean, if that's what you want to enjoy, cool. I don't have the VR headset, so I really don't have a dog in this fight. But they are making leaps and bounds with it, and it is getting more and more immersive. So hopefully you get lost in those worlds. I don't have a dog in this fight.
I don't have a fight in this dog at all, no. But
I don't have a fight in this dog, says
yeah.
John.
And then they showed Zenless Zone Zero, which is another Hoyo voice game, which, because Genshin Impact has kind of become its own cult of people who play it. I look at least just the graphics and the animations for this game, and it's interesting because it looks like it's animated really super well, and that intrigues me. So I'm wondering if it's just going to be another grindy open world experience, or if it's going to have maybe something a bit, more substantial to it. I would like to see that because also the character Monica, like holy crap, them boobas.
For everybody that wants to give grief to Hoyo, like the Hoyoverse games, because it is gotcha, they know what they're doing and they do it well. We got a big, immersive, high fantasy world with Genshin Impact, into sci-fi with Honkai Star Rail, now into still sci-fi but mecha with Zenless Zone Zero. Like, love them or hate them, they are improving their craft with each iteration in the Hoyoverse.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like those other people out there who there's other developers who really think, well, we got like a runaway success with this one game we made. We can make the next one faster and cheaper, right? Cool. No, but also I must to all the people out there who must have the waifus of these characters. I'm sorry. Her name is Nicole, not Monica. I goofed. Sorry. I got into
Yeah.
the comment section before the comment section could even exist.
I saved myself. I will say, like, in watching that trailer, it you remember like when like the really stylized cell shaded games of the PlayStation 2, like your Okami, your Dragon Quest 8, like when those were coming out?
You could even say Jet Set Radio, which pioneered it, but okay.
Well, I mean, I didn't have an Xbox. Sue me. I'm talking
I
my
mean, or a
childhood.
Dreamcast, anyway.
But that's kind of what it reminded me of. Like, it was very vivid colors and vivid, like the animation was just like popping. So this might be another one we try together, John. Like, let's get into the Hoyoverse and gotcha away your tax return.
It's already spent. I already spent it on drops or whatever in freaking Genshin. I'm so sorry. No.
Oh man. Our next title. So kind of a surprise hit of 2023. Dave the Diver, indie game that everybody loved, which I played a little bit of it. I was very curious, but I didn't hate it. It's coming to PlayStation, and Godzilla is also coming to Dave the Diver. Burning
Yeah.
Godzilla is coming to Dave the Diver.
So the gameplay loop of Dave the Diver, you're familiar with it, yes? Like you go and you dive, you catch fish, you serve it to a sushi chef who makes it into sushi. I'm wondering what kind of sushi Godzilla's gonna make. I bet that's delicious.
Ooh, what if you eat it? You get the burning powers.
What if you eat it, you turn into Godzilla? That'd be awesome.
Like when you heard, I will admit, in the trailer when you hear the iconic Godzilla music, I was like, what? Oh, cool. And they had enough separation where it almost looked as if it was going to be a different game, and they pulled a gotcha. So hats off to a really good reveal there. I think that was the one that I think that's the one that resonated most with me.
That's good because I know what definitely resonated the most with me, and we'll talk about that as we go down the list of these trailers here.
So also in the state of play, V Rising kind of gave Diablo vibes, isometric action game. I mean,
I think anything with a high up camera will give anybody Diablo style vibes or old school gauntlet slash dungeon crawler vibes. So yeah.
it's a fantasy survival game. If that's in your wheelhouse, knock yourself out.
Can we not have survival games? Can we just have like a fantasy game? It's like, well, what about survival? No, not survival. No crafting. It's fantasy.
Oh, I mean, we got some news about some survival stuff here in a bit.
Ugh.
So I'm gonna say I think this was one of John's favorite trailers. BioShock in Space, aka Judas, got a brand new trailer, and as kind of cheesy, campy my intro line for that was, or antagonistic, we can use that one.
Sure.
It looks awesome, and it feels wholly its own. You can tell the creator of BioShock made the game. Like, there's homages, there was lots of love, like there's lots of parallels between the world of BioShock and Judas.
Yeah.
But the way they delivered that trailer looks so good.
Yeah, the art direction alone and seeing like the tin soldiers, I'm like, oh, okay, so these are like the big daddies. I got you. No, but I have been waiting for a game like this since Infinite came out, and it's one of those interesting things where we'll jump ahead and just say that the Death Stranding 2 is what they ended the show with, because of course they would, because Kojima and Sony are still, buddy buddy, even though Death Stranding was really divisive. But when because I remember Ken Levine splitting off from Irrational Games to start like a mobile game company for a while, and he was trying to spearhead games and do things in different directions there. And I remember not a whole lot really coming to fruition with that. So coming back to an old wheelhouse, or at least just something that resonates with this type of people who are your fans, of this type of stuff that you make. I'm all for it, because Kojima did the same thing. Like, yeah, after Death Stranding 2, we're going to make a stealth action game. It's like, oh, really? I wonder what that's going to be like.
It's it's a testament to the success of the creator of a franchise when you can tie in many generations. This is obviously a game that is going to be coming out. It's a new age game. It's going to take advantage of the power of the PS5 and all of the new age specs, but it is literally tying in almost 20 years of fans, because BioShock 1 came out, what? It was like 05, 06?
It was like 07 or 08. Like, it was into the Xbox 360 PS3 era.
So almost 20 years of fans who have been loyal to this franchise in some form or fashion, or just enjoyed it because of what it was, are now about to feast on a brand new IP from the same creator. That's really awesome.
Yeah, it is. And I am looking forward to it. And after we're done recording, I'm going to watch the trailer again.
Well, speaking of what you can do after we're done recording, Silent Hill.
Yeah, I get it.
Silent Hill God. Is back, ladies and gentlemen.
Is it? Is it really?
So, twofold. So we got a trailer for the Silent Hill 2 remake project, but you can actually play it right now. Like, literally, you could play it right after the State of Play aired. The free-to-play spin-off, Silent Hill, The Short Message. I mean, we'll see how it's received. I'm not a big horror game fan myself, but it looked like it was a very psychological mind mess. So if you like that, go get Terrified.
Sure. And I, the memes came out aplenty when this trailer was dropped for the Silent Hill 2 remake. And seeing Blooper Team add the combat to it and the combat gameplay and all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, oh, they made the game palatable. Okay. Because I will say this. I totally respect what people enjoy about the Silent Hill games. They're very dark, meditative, psychological horror games that, the environments and the enemies all reflect the internal struggles of these characters. And that's not a game that people get nowadays. I think actually we do get a lot of those types of games nowadays that actually have combat in them and have gameplay elements that are actually fun and not clunky. So when I see the combat reveal and people being like, boo, I'm just like, dude, this is what games are now. You got to deal with it, man.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. You know what? For all of you listening, I'm going to load up my first ever horror game, and it's going to be the free-to-play Silent Hill, The Short Message. If I'm not here for the next episode, I got horrified.
I would love just to see if I would... I want to, like, tweet that at people and be like, this is going to be the first horror game I ever play, and people being like, you can't, no.
But you must play all of these.
Yeah, you have to play Rule of the Rose. Here, I'll send you a burned copy, because I will never send you my inbox copy. Anyway. And then we're getting to the main draw for me here. I need to just jump in and say this. Sonic Generations, there were immediately rumors before the State of Play that Sonic Generation was going to get some type of re-release or rebrand or whatever. And more as the event drew near, people were like, oh, and it's going to have Shadow in it. I'm like, well, Shadow was in the original game too. You just couldn't play as him. Then this trailer comes out, and it's freaking... It mimics the original trailer for Sonic Generations, and then you see Shadow interrupt it like a freaking canon event or something from Spider-Man, and he's just like, "Yeah, this is my anniversary too, bitch," and it immediately shows the gameplay of what's going to be his storyline, and I got to see Black Doom in a video game again, and I was just totally enamored. I am going to buy this game. I was going to buy this game anyway, but now that it has Shadow in it as well, I'm like, yay!
John is literally spamming day one, day one, day one, day one, day one, day one, day one.
Yeah. Day zero if I can get it early. Holy crap.
Hey, some companies have literally been sending stuff a week ahead of like release date. Some people got copies of Yakuza, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. They got them 7 days early, and they weren't reviewers or YouTubers. It was just like stores that were saying, "Screw it, we'll bust street dates." So you could get it day zero.
I would love people to do that with Nintendo games more, because I think Nintendo really needs to be taken down a peg.
You hear that, Nintendo? This small podcast is coming for you now.
This is 2 episodes in a row where I've kind of vocalized my love-hate relationship with this freaking company.
Oh my goodness.
Meanwhile, Super Mario Nintendo World at Universal Studios is like, yay!
I will say, the Sonic franchise went from brand new IP of Sonic Frontiers to weird new IP to remaster. So if we follow the Sonic logic, after this should be a brand new IP.
Vector the Crocodile, the game. Cool. Looking forward to it.
No. What? Why?
What do you mean, no? Chaotix 2. I'm calling it. Anyway.
Oh, goodness. Well, if you were a fan of the original, the next thing that got revealed, the second in the series, Capcom dropped the Dragon's Dogma 2 trailer, part 2.
You say revealed as if people didn't know this game was coming out already, but yes, they showed more information on Dragon's Dogma 2.
I literally said part 2 at the very end, but you were so focused on what I said at the beginning that you got gotcha'd.
I didn't get gotcha'd at all. You said revealed. I know what English words mean, James.
I did say revealed, but at the end of my statement, I was like, another. So you focused on the wrong word.
This is how you know we're nerds. We get freaking pedantic over just the most meaningless, ridiculous shit. This is how you know we're nerds. This is our nerd cred right now. No,
you're shallow and pedantic.
You're stupid.
Oh man. So no, we got to see more of Dragon's Dogma 2. It's coming out here very soon, actually. It's coming out in March on the 22nd. It looks promising. If you were a fan of the original, this one's probably not going to disappoint. I mean, just with the access to the technology here, it looks like it could be a sleeper.
Yeah, with the first one kind of was as well. I think just the nature of how Souls-like games and very much of their ilk have sort of taken over, as well as seeing Monster Hunter World break records and Monster Hunter Rise break records. I think a lot of people are going to be a bit more receptive to this one. So that's just my bet, and we'll see what happens.
Yep. One I actually really enjoyed, even though it's kind of falling into the same trend of being a rehashed, newish version of something. We got a really deep dive into Stellar Blade, and they announced the release date of April 26th. You get to play as Eve, and she has a couple companions, Adam and Lily, with her. Essentially, you're trying to destroy basically they're kind of like mechish, alienish enemies. Like in the trailer, there was a dude with like a tire head that was just rotating. It was very odd. And then like hostile humans like to kind of take Earth back. So it gives Nier Automata vibes. Like we'll throw that out there right away. But it looks like such a beautiful game. And I've honestly been having a lot of fun with these open world-ish action games. I mean, heck, look, I literally beat Forspoken here recently. So I'm kind of hyped for this. I'm going to enjoy this.
I'll see what it looks like later. I don't know. There's a part of me that's really just, I look at these types of games, I'm just kind of like, okay. I don't know what it's going to take to make a certain game like that appeal to me anymore, because it's certainly not going to be freaking, barely legal looking anime chicks in video games.
Well, I mean, hey, you get quite a bit more of it in this state of play because you know what? We're gonna keep chugging along because we only have you for a finite amount of time or however much we want. It's our show. We do what we want.
Yeah, this is the first 24-hour live episode where we talk about nothing. God.
You get one word a minute. Hi.
That sounds like it would work. Like that's how a Mr. Beast video starts. Where it's like, I'm going to count to 1 million. It's like, suck.
Oh my goodness. So Until Dawn, the remaster, is coming to PS5 and PC this year. We got to see that. Yeah, Until Dawn. If you enjoyed it, it's coming back.
The only good one. The only good one of the Dark Pictures series, whatever. Yeah, the first one that kicked it off and was the only good one. So there you go.
Speaking of games that you're not a fan of, with where they're going, Team Ninja's Rise of the Ronin, which is a more serious version of Stellar Blade, because it's the same style of gameplay.
Team Ninja.
Open world.
No. Hold on.
Action.
Look. Stop it. Look. I was one who enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima very thoroughly. However, another game series that Team Ninja has done and has made, headway with was the Neo franchise. They made 2 of those games, and they were balls to the wall, difficult, stupid, crazy Dark Souls-like samurai times. This one actually looks way more palatable and gives me a lot more vibes of something that's a bit easier to play and have fun with, because I saw the samurai fights and I saw like the guns and like the flying wings, and I'm like, cool. So maybe gives me some Ghost of Tsushima vibes with some Team Ninja grit, so to speak. So we're gonna see what that looks like, because when I saw it for the first time, I was like, oh, this looks fun. This looks interesting. Yeah.
So as much as I joke with John, it looks like it's going to be a really good game. It's set during a specific time period in Japan. I think it was like the year 1868.
In Yokohama, where the port's open to the world, and they start getting like European influences and guns and stuff. So I'm like, sweet.
Yep. So that one looks promising. Looks like it'll be fun. It might be in my up my alley with how my gameplay has been evolving.
Yeah. Oh my god, real-time combat has infected your soul.
You hush your face. And then finally, the state of play ended not with Walking Simulator 2, with ship popping out of a baby into what can only be described as the canal of a body.
No, it's down someone's esophagus, is what it is.
Yeah. Either way, Death Stranding 2, on the beach, we got to see a very awesome, lengthy trailer. We got, obviously, what are cutscenes. We got to see some scenes from the game. If you were a fan of Death Stranding 1, despite the divisiveness of that game, you are more than likely going to really enjoy this. Like, love it or hate it, you will always get an experience that is memorable from Kojima.
And George Miller's in it, which I think is funny, because in the first game, Guillermo del Toro, like they used him for the model for Deadman, the character. Now George Miller's in this one, so I'm just waiting for Death Stranding 3 to come out and have like Quentin Tarantino be in there and be like, hell yeah. No, watching this trailer was a lot of fun. I think the best thing you can do with Kojima style games is actually not watch the trailers and just play the games blind, honestly, because if you would have told me, like, I had no doubt in my mind that like the antagonist from the first game was going to come back, but to see him with a crazy like David Bowie-esque like screen presence and theatrics with a freaking electric guitar as he's fighting a robot samurai who could be Lou. I don't know. I'm already predicting that because of the whole baby crying star face radar from the... When I talk about aspects of Kojima games like this, I feel like I'm going crazy. But no, truly, I just want to see what kind of insanity this man can generate into this game world, and I'm there for it. So hit me with it.
Are you saying this is a day one buy?
Yeah, because I slept on Death Stranding 1 thinking it was just way too out there, and then when I finally played it, I was like, oh, I'm into this.
Must get.
Yeah, and then I finally beat it, and the game had like 12 different endings, which made me angry. But whatever.
And then the last surprise, we got to see Kojima. He's talking with another representative from Sony. His studio is doing a brand new IP that is an action espionage game, kind of like, many of his other works. It's going to blur between video game and film. We don't have a title for the project yet, but knowing Kojima, at some big event this year, we're going to get to see it, and it's going to look awesome.
It's going to be the official Escape from New York video game franchise. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome, guys. Because he won't be able to make Solid Snake video games anymore, but Snake?
So that was the state of play. There was something for everybody. I know in the groups
are we sure about that?
I know
are we
in the
sure
groups
about
I'm
that?
in, the groups I'm in felt there was nothing for them, but in reality, if you enjoy the way RPGs are going, your Tales of Arise, Eternites, and all of the rest, Stellar Blade is going to be right up your alley. So I will say, even JRPG fans got something good.
Yeah, they also got it at Microsoft's conference, which everybody who said that the Xbox conference was freaking mid or trash or whatever, and then they watch this, it's like, you guys really have no taste at all, don't you?
Oh, man. So, yeah, no, it's going to be a good year. But what's not good, and kind of unfortunately ties into something John mentioned a few episodes ago, when it comes to layoffs and horribleness. So, the most wish-listed game ever on Steam, the day before, officially shut down, game over. Like, they issued refunds, like, laid people off. We've gotten to see inside that hellish world. Because it's Fantastic Studio, but without the A. There were not a very fantastic studio. Developers at some point were working 6 days a week, as they was getting into crunch time, 7 days a week, over 15 hours a day. Like, people were having to schedule breaks just to go shower and find a meal. That's not cool.
Exploiting your workers is never cool. What I find so compelling about this entire story is that and maybe this just goes to show how either apathetic or oblivious I am. I don't know. But when people said this was the most wishlisted game on Steam, this was like hyped up for all this stuff, I was like, really? I had never, ever heard of it. And I find it's one of those games that's the most wishlisted because for people who are terminally online, that it makes sense or it was going to be fun or they saw some appeal into it. I'm like, it's literally everything you've ever seen before. Again, why was this one the one that, why was this one the leader of the pack? I don't get it.
People
like even like, as the story. Sorry to keep talking, but I'm also part of the show. No, but some people might not want that. Who knows? But what I'm saying is just looking at every trailer and looking at every announcement and everything that's come out because of the controversy about this, it just looks like every other freaking game. So what the hell was it that made people be like, yeah, okay?
So, I mean, to answer your question, right now, the thing you like the least in video games, being the survival aspect, is what people love the most. And this offered the survival aspect in spades. But obviously
it said it was, and then it didn't. So that's what happened.
Well, obviously it was a nightmare. But I mean, it gets so bad that the developers have actually reported they were made to pay fines if something wasn't up to where the higher ups wanted. Like, some people recorded an audio track and higher ups didn't like it. They were made to pay $1,930 for that. What in the
so they taxed their employees is what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean,
that sounds really backward and would only exist in wherever the hell they operated out of. So,
okay. And I'm very happy that we're not ending the show with this type of news because, dear God.
Yeah. And it's funny, too, again, because I find the juxtaposition of the failure of this game and the success of Power World so delicious. I don't know. I can't think of a better word because I just before we started recording, because when the game came out, they were putting out things like, oh, yeah, we sold like 8 million copies in 3 days. They are now up to nearly 20 million active users across both platforms, Xbox and PC. And I think that's just amazing because what Pal World is doing is
Is what
doing
Pokemon should
what.
have done.
No, I'm not going to say that because I don't think when I see all the little pals working in little sweatshops and stuff, I'm just kind of like, no, I don't think I want to see Pikachu do that. No, but what I'm saying is it's proving the same thing that Hi-Fi Rush did when it came out last year. Like a shadow dropped or otherwise just, well advertised or well made game that delivers on the concept that it's trying to deliver on, reaching near universal acclaim. And I think that that's pretty admirable that that can still happen, as
So
opposed to
you
algorithm chasing, as opposed to following the pack and making everything the same game over time. These people were just like, yeah, we're going to sell you Pokemon with guns and you'll like it. And people were like, yeah, we do.
so you're happy this is the polar opposite in the juxtaposition, like that meteoric rise to meteoric fall.
Yeah, exactly. It shows the fallacy of hype. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is gonna honestly, y'all are gonna be seeing news about this probably for the next few weeks because at one point,
Months.
quoting the developers on why it failed, shit happens.
Ha!
No, 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 no. You do not get to say that. And
You are
then
not John Riccatello. You are not Bobby Kotick. You can't just be like, whatever.
then at one point, the devs blamed bloggers for the game's failure, blamed YouTubers for its failure. This is going to go down as probably one of the biggest, I don't want to say scandal, like biggest letdowns and falls in video game history in recent memory because we've had bad companies. John's mentioned John Riccatello's, your Bobby Kodak's. Like we've had companies do dumb things. Microsoft with internet only with their Connect technology on the Xbox One. Like there's been dumb things that have been addressed. Like some things have been owned. Some things have been able to be recovered from. This is not it.
Yeah, they just tried to. It was like a shell company, but a video game. That's what it is.
Like this is nuts. Like you heard me mention like employees had to pay that 1930 for an audio example, right? Like legit, like they were fined for mistakes. Like the heads of the company were like, we feel like it should be GTA like. We feel like it should be this. We feel like it should be this. Like it was the kind of like the flavor of the week, and then it just kept getting changed and changed. This is the perfect example of good idea fairies not being needed. You should have stuck with what you pushed, wrote it out. Not find your employees for making mistakes. I mean, it's a company. Things will happen. We are human. Mistakes happen. So
I think you're misunderstanding just how grifts are supposed to work because it's not about making a good product or even making a good game. It's about scamming people out of their money. That's what they wanted to do. Very clearly, that's what they wanted to do.
So if you just search the day before, you'll see some trailers, you'll see top stories. There's an about. And normally IGN doesn't really like rating bomb anybody. Like they'll give some 4s or 5s occasionally. Legit, this is a 1 out of 10 from IGN.
Abysmal. I love it when they break out abysmal because a lot of people misconstrue that a 5 out of 10 is a bad game. No, it's just mediocre. Look at the Suicide Squad review. But when you get a 1, or you get, in Godhand's case, like the 3 or 2, where it's just bad and they were just stupid.
Yeah. This,
Whew, man. It's only fitting. I'm sorry, I have to chime in real quick. It seems very fitting, like cosmically fitting, that we still end up, even in our 100th episode, shit talking IGN. You know?
Hey, in this case, they had it right.
Yeah, they did. And so sometimes, but bygones be bygones, IGN. Just, thanks for putting that game and those developers in their place with that one review.
Oh my goodness. All right. So we can't end the show on a negative note because that company is not fantastic. Like screw you, Fantastic Studio. So we're gonna let you all know the game's coming out in February. So if you don't know where to search or where to look, you heard it first here on Games with John and James. And whoo boy, things have already hit the shelves that myself and John will be chopping at the bit for or kind of bashing. So, John, I'm going to
Yeah.
dive right in. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, 8 years in the making, amazing action RPG. I'm going to be dedicating quite a bit of my life to that now that I'm done with Forspoken, because I got to play that before other stuff that's coming out this month.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Then you have One Punch Man World. Also, so it's coming out for PC, iOS, and Android. All of you know what that means as well as I do. Take it with what you will. If you like One Punch Man, go knock yourself out.
Yeah, just enjoy that stuff.
So
Frickin'
I forgot to
anything coming to iOS. There's a part of me that's just like, fine.
So, Inside Gamer Talk, I forgot to send this list of games to John. I just shadow dropped it in our chat. So now he can also see this.
Yeah.
It's at the very bottom of the article, by the way, John.
I can see things. Okay.
A game I think so already came out. If you're a fan of fighting games, this anime has been one of the most watched recently and ended their season 2 with one of the most spectacular fights ever. Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Clash for PC and every console, even back to the last generation. I think you would enjoy that one, John. Like when I saw that, I was like, I'm curious, and I looked at it. It looked like a really fun fighting game.
It feels. Is it like an open kind of arena, big circle arena, and you kind of run around and punch stuff? Is that what it is?
Yes and no. It's like an anime style fighter, but it kind of holds parameters from like the main three as well.
I love how you say like, John, you might be interested in that, and my immediate thought is they need to stop making those. Like Ultimate Ninja Storm sucks. Like that genre, that type of arena style fighter that's just a one-on-one fighter has not worked since Castlevania Judgment, and I refuse to acknowledge it works now. So they really need to just go to 2D fighters or do Tekken. Just make Tekken with it. You know what I mean?
Sure. John might try it. I will not. Because February...
You're going to foist that on me? You're going to foist that on me, huh? Okay, fine.
I said you might, very loosely. Also already out. Came out February 2nd. And another one, and another remake. Atlas Will Not Stop. Persona 3 Reload is live for PS4.
Good to see Sega making money. So
honestly, this is Persona in its purest form. It's phenomenal. If you enjoy Persona, pick it up. It is very nice to not have the bugginess and the glitchiness from the digital releases last year that came out. Like this is, if you liked Persona, like if you liked Persona 3 back in the day, this is the definitive edition to pick up.
I just can't look at Persona games because they remind me of an ex-girlfriend, and I'm just like,
Well, this one won't remind you of an ex-girlfriend. The game John has been waiting
if anything, this Persona 3 will, but yes, please continue.
The game John had some choice words with me before the show is also live, and we don't know how. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League came out February 2nd.
Oh my goodness. And like people were already getting the early access to play the game and like have already gotten 100% story completion and all this stuff, and it's hilarious. Just seeing the ongoing train wreck that is the discourse surrounding this game makes me want to play it. Because as someone who didn't play any of the Arkham games, because me as a fan of any type of comic books, I really just don't give a crap about Batman. I like Superman. But no. Seeing everybody talk about like the disrespect to the characters in the story, I'm just like, That sounds awesome to me. I just want to watch. I want to play the game where Captain Boomerang pisses on the corpse of the Flash.
So this is a no middle ground game. You will either enjoy it or you will hate it. There is no this game is mid. So
yep.
It's out. Let us know what you think.
Yeah. Let's yell at us, please. We want engagement. Yell at us in the comments. I want people to hear that story spoiler I just dropped. I want people to be like, "What the hell, man?"
Oh goodness, the last of our games that's already out, kind of has a cult following. Vampire the Masquerade Justice. It's out on PC. If you like the franchise, play it. I have nothing really to say on it.
If you like White Wolf games, you're gonna enjoy this.
So coming out tomorrow, so the day after you listen to this beautiful episode, make sure you go and pick this up. Foam Stars.
Yes, Square Enix needs to have one other game. Please let this be one.
So that comes out February 6th. We already talked about it, so we'll move right on. Helldivers 2 comes out February 8th. We already talked about it. Dive into hell. Let's go.
The game I forgot happened. And I want to jump ahead to Valentine's Day because I'm seeing one on there that I actually might pick up because I have a lot of nostalgia for these games.
You know what?
Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered.
Did you just skip a whole bunch of games?
Games that already existed. Who cares? We're talking about Tomb Raider right now with those triangle boobs. Because I remember being a kid and seeing the first Tomb Raider and being blown away because I'm just like, wow, big open 3D environments with puzzles and jumping and shooting wolves. It's great.
Were you the perpetrator of if you do certain things in the game, you can see Lara Croft, secret ending guy? Was that you too?
No, but I did beat Tomb Raider 2 and got the ending where she freaking shoots the cameraman. But holding the trigger button to make her do like a freaking, gymnastics like pull up that goes into like her standing on her hands. It's like, what the hell is that about? But whatever.
So I will fast fire these other games. Banishers, Ghost of New Eden, February 13th. Ultros, February 13th. Dragon Quest Builders, February 13th. Islands of Insight, February 13th. Like John said, most of those have already been out. So yeah, pick them up on where they're coming out new. The other Valentine's Day launch, Arzette, the Jewel of Faramore.
I like how what I did there was jump ahead just to prove that we're looking at a list.
I mean, we literally told them. But yeah, no, pick that one up. Plate Up is coming out February 15th, so day after Valentine's Day. Looks cute. I might give it a shot.
Okay. I'm looking down the list. I'm sorry, but Skull and Bones is finally coming out. Are you kidding me?
So
finally,
the same day Skull and Bones come out, which by the way, everyone, is February 16th. We also get John's nemesis for these past few episodes from Nintendo, Mario versus Donkey Kong.
Have you ever played the Game Boy Donkey Kong games or the Donkey Kong versus Mario games at all?
Yes, and I did not like them.
Well, I loved them. So anyway, yeah, I'm looking at
not
this
what
and
you
I'm
were expecting.
Yeah, when I got the Game Boy Donkey Kong back in whenever when I had my Game Boy, that game became my favorite instantly because I was like, okay, cool, I like Donkey Kong, and then like 100 more levels open up and all sorts of crazy stuff like building bridges and doing somersaults and kicking the hammer and bopping enemies. It was such a good time.
So chugging right along, shout out Skull and Bones and Mario versus Donkey Kong.
Hey.
February 20th, you get another PlayStation VR game, Madison. If you have it, give it a shot. I mean, it's nice that they're releasing VR games in pretty frequent fashion. Then we get
someone has to justify that freaking thing's existing.
I mean, fair. We get a franchise near and dear to my heart. The games are not always the best, and neither are the movies, but I love me something from the Terminator franchise. Terminator Dark Fate Defiance comes out February 21st.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Terminator Dark Fate Defiance is made by the same people like Nakon or Treyarch or whatever. Not Treyarch. Whatever. Treyon. I think that's what they're called. They're the ones who put out the recent RoboCop Rogue City video game, and that game was frickin' awesome. It was a bit, there were some elements that were underbaked, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, it's a RoboCop game. I'm shooting criminals in the face, and it's a lot of fun. So I believe this is them as well.
So developed by Slytherin Software and published by Slytherin Software. Somebody must have liked Harry Potter when they made that company.
I'm going to make my new video game company Adamantium Holdings. Anyway.
We're rock hard.
Damn right.
So that comes out February 21st. Slave Zero X, also February 21st. If you notice, John and I not really speaking much on these, some certain titles. We're just giving you the titles. If it's something you're tracking or we're wanting, we're giving you the dates.
Yeah, and I see the last game on that list there, and then after that game comes out, every other video game in existence can come out, so...
Yep, so this is, if you notice, there's a few kind of big releases, but when that last game gets mentioned, you'll see why most of these are kind of indie, remake, / whatevers. Moving right along, Nightingale, February 22nd. I think John will enjoy this one. Pacific Drive, February 22nd.
Get to drive through Oregon and not have to play Days Gone to do it. Sweet.
Sons of the Forest, also February 22nd. Honestly, a lot of these games are coming out on PC. PC's getting a lot of love this month in February.
Freaking now that Steam has basically opened up the entire world to being like, hey, you want a portable PC that's like a Switch? Sure. And now all these games are coming to PC.
Yep. And then honestly, so that's also Sons of the Forest, February 22nd. Then we jump ahead to February 27th. It's actually a pretty cute and endearing franchise. There's a new Shiren the Wanderer, The Mystery of Serpent Coil Island. A new game in the franchise has come out.
If you have played Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, you have played this type of video game. So,
yep. And it holds up on its own. It's endearing. It's adorable. I'm picking it up.
Sure.
Then on February 28th, we get Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons remake.
The guy won the Game Awards with It Takes Two, and he's like, you know what? I got to go back and really, really give this game the attention it deserves.
So that's coming out. If you see kind of what we're doing, that is a remake. Then we get... Also on February 28th, if you're a fan of dun 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 dun, dun Star Wars Dark Forces Remaster hits everything.
Yep. And despite that hammy intro, the fact that we're getting the re-releases of old school LucasArts games of any capacity makes me very happy. As someone who played like the Indiana Jones like old PC games and Loom and Secret of Monkey Island and all that other stuff, like just seeing this is just really nice.
Yeah. And then not a remaster, not a re-release. Literally the last game to be released in February, released on February 29th. We see what you did there, Square Enix. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That is the reason.
This way, nobody can celebrate the anniversary of this game because they'd have to wait 4 years for February 29th to have it again.
Honestly, that is the reason. If you look at the titles that we just mentioned coming out in February, most of them are not original. Most of them are remakes or indie titles. Even Nintendo only lightly released a remake of a Game Boy game. That if that doesn't tell you the stopping power this game has, I don't know what does.
Yeah, plenty of stopping power right in the chest.
I'm glad you still get that reference.
Mm-hmm.
But as a fan of JRPGs, myself and everyone else, we're feasting this month. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, easily 100 hours is going into that game. Persona 3 Reload, if you played a Persona, you're spending 100 hours in that game. And then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at the very end, your whole February is dedicated to 3 games.
I would say your whole March, April, and May, and June. Yeah.
You don't know how well I play games, John.
I don't want to know. Because you've told me about how you're crushing this backlog. I'm just like, well, when do you sleep, eat, or, work, or do anything else?
Well, you know what? We're going to have some fun when we come back, because that's all we have for news coming out in February. So make sure if you're wanting a title, make sure, you listen to this episode, because we gave you some titles. And
Yeah.
if not, well, hey, joke's on you because your wallet's going to hate you and the stores don't have it because everybody bought them.
Just like all those copies of Starfield for 3 cents.
Oh, yeah. Other random news before we cut to our outro music. Microsoft pulled all of the copies of physical copies of Starfield back from Walmart and let Walmart clearance them for 3 cents.
Not only that, but like Redfall's not there, and like any other Xbox first party game is now like just going the way of the dodo. I actively tried to get a copy of the clearance Starfield, and I was just like, huh, they're all gone.
Well, I have one for full price to the tune of 74 of them sitting over there. If you would like
No,
it at
you
full price. My most recent
just
work trip when I was in, not in LA, I was in Sacramento. A Walmart had them all clearanced and didn't have a limit on how much you could buy.
I just wanted you to see the whole stack of them, and it's like, cool, nice coasters. Anyway,
No. That's what we did, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know, or if we never mentioned it, last year, biggest train wreck of a fail of a launch, Babylon's Fall, shut
oh
down
boy.
servers after like 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
I had my PlayStation 5 copy as a coaster. John was like, I want to get a coaster. We could only find him the PlayStation 4 copy. And then he and I, our shout out to Henry. Henry, you're always getting shout outs here. We were at Flashback Video Games in San Antonio, where if you like retro and say you like pop figures and other collectibles, he is your one-stop shop. He's the best shop in San Antonio. Best prices. You have got to check him out. Let him know we sent you there. Henry is the man. But John and I are in there. This was when you were looking at some of the extra Sega peripherals that he had gotten in. And I see a sealed copy of the PS5 version of Babylon's Fall. I'm like, can we complete the gag, Henry? And can John have this as a coaster? And Henry hooked him up. He's like, yeah, here you go.
Yep, and he also gave me the unusable copies of Overwatch 1 that for Xbox, so that's fun too. What a great guy. And also those coasters are still not being used as coasters. They're still shrink wrapped on my game shelf right now.
You know what's going to be wild? Watch them become collector's items.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like the Fortnite physical copy and you have a $10,000 prize on your hands.
Oh, for God's sake. I remember
You would sell it.
I would, but I also still think it's funny how Fortnite is truly the biggest success story in video games probably ever. And it all started because no one wanted the original version of it. So.
Yep. So yeah, when we come back, I have a fun, cool, backloggy surprise for everybody.
All right. I don't know what he's going to talk about, so stay tuned, y'all. Well,
welcome back, everybody. That has been your news of the month. You can look forward to these at the first episode of every month. We're going to break down the news, what's been happening recently, and honestly let you know the titles coming out, because if this year is any indicator for the success from last year, we're just going to get a veritable smorgasbord of titles that you could get lost in the sauce in, because so many come out that get lost and they just fall through the cracks. So John and I, we're doing the Lord's work here and letting you know.
Yeah, we have struggled so much to have like a routine or just some type of actual programming for our show, and now we have something. and I think that's admirable of us. We deserve a pat on the back.
It
After
only
100, after 100 episodes, we finally got it. We got this, man. We got this by the balls.
insert cheer.
I'll use the frickin' sample that they use in rap songs of the kids going, yeah.
No, it's been a fun 100 episode ride. We've had ups, downs, lefts, rights. We've talked about everything from Shaq Fu all the way to Final Fantasy as being a fallen franchise before 16 came out.
Yeah, I wonder if that actually did anything good for the franchise, because I know it sold well. So
yeah, this is it's been a fun one, and the surprise I have to share with everybody, I knocked another 74 games out of my backlog.
Did you sell them? Is
No.
that how you did it?
No. Just grinded through. When you're on a work trip, and when you're done working, you go grab food, you work So for me, my routine is I'll wake up, I'll get a really, really good workout in, get ready, go work, grab food, come back, 8 to 10 hours, sometimes even 12 hours straight gaming.
That's a lot of sitting down. Holy crap.
And I do it standing up, walking around, and then every hour on the hour, I take a break and I break into 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, 100 lunges each leg. John, I gave him ideas. He is not talking.
No, I just thought if that's actually what you do, I thought you'd be way more muscular than you are.
Hey, big shirt, you can't see these muscles.
I want to see him sometime, though. This is the 100th episode. I'm coming out of the closet. Me and James, hetero life mates, but, sometimes it gets a little gay in there. So stupid.
Yeah, that's my co-host, everybody. Well, you know where to find us. We are on TikTok, on Instagram.
Hold up. Before we do the full-blown outro, let's give some of this, the gravity of, I think this is an accomplishment, This is our centennial episode, So I just want to ask you, since the start of the show to now, from doing the show with me and examining the games industry the way we have and talking about and exploring new concepts and all sorts of stuff, is there anything you feel that you have learned or anything that has changed in your approach to gaming or viewing games as a whole?
Meat Sponge, Sonic Heroes.
I love the way you trivialize when I'm trying to actually have a heartfelt moment. But yes, please continue if there's more.
No, there absolutely is more. Sorry, I had to get that in there. I had to bring back a callback to our episode 1 with Meat Sponge.
You really didn't, but I appreciate that you did. Sure, continue, please.
And Sonic Heroes will never, ever leave you.
It's in my heart forever.
It's graded.
Cholesterol.
Do you still have the graded copy?
Yeah, it's in my little glass display case over there. I pointed off screen as if people can see. No, it's over in my game /PC /office workroom. I have a glass cabinet that has my autographed Sonic Adventure and my graded Sonic Heroes.
What about your autographed? What was the one with big Sonic weird Boom? Knuckles? Yeah.
No, that's mixed in with my Wii U games, but yes.
So honestly, we enjoy games for how we enjoy it. Like, you have franchises you lean to, I have franchises I lean to, genres you lean to, genres I lean to. In doing a show like this, it takes you out of your norm. And what I enjoy the most is, if you look at me when we initially started this show, the idea of me playing a game like Forspoken, or even Breath of the Wild, or Tears of the Kingdom, non-existent. I was very set in my ways. Give me my turn-based, occasional action in a Star Ocean or a Tales of game. Very cut and dry. And the cool part about doing a show like this is both of us have come out of our shell. Be it you trying super hard in Lost Sphere or Tales of Berseria, even the Final Fantasy VII remake. Me giving BioShock a shot, if you remember that, when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's shows like this, and I hope anybody who has a show, anybody who has a YouTube channel, whatever, I hope they understand that it's moments like these that are really awesome, because I'm a firm believer in we have to challenge ourselves. We need to go out of our comfort zones. Otherwise, we kind of stagnate and our brain power regresses. And the way you challenge yourself as a gamer is you try something new. You look at things from a different perspective. You put that time and energy to actually research something. And I'll give you a really, like, it's a really kind of hits home example that happened here literally 2 days ago.
All right.
One of the groups I'm in on Facebook, it's RPG Sanctuary. There's a guy who posts on there. His name is Ame Wun. So I believe he's from China. And literally he posts, I don't want to play this game. And it was Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. If you look at a lot of the reviews, there's some decent ones, but a lot of them are the kind of middle of the road. It's the 5s to 7, 7.5, some 8s. And when it came out on PC, it wasn't as optimized as it was for console. So there were some bugs, there were some crashes, right? But instead of developing his own opinion for it, literally based it off of the reviewers, didn't bother getting the game, and then wanted to complain that he couldn't get the game now. Like, I hear you. I understand being cautious with your wallet, because if we bought every game we were moderately interested in, we would be spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars annually.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that, so.
No comment on me. John knew what my JRPG collection used to be. He saw it.
Yeah, I did, and I was like, I don't know what to have an intervention for you for. There's too many moving targets.
And it's kind of one of those aha moments, because in doing this show, both John and I, like, I'm going to speak for you here a little bit, John, like, we've moved past our personal biases when it comes to certain styles of games, genres, just even titles we may have had beef with in the past that got remastered. And we both have opened our mind to it. And honestly, as a gamer, that's what you got to do. Because for every JRPG that comes out, there's honestly a Forspoken, Stellar Blade, the whatchamajigger, Exoprimal, the game we were going to play together, but then just kind of fell off the rails. There's a Foam Stars.
Yeah, because Exoprimal did everything wrong. It really did. It had a cool premise, and it just decided to do everything wrong. But,
But you have those titles that take you out of your comfort zone and expand your view in gaming. And I'm a firm believer we got to constantly expand our worldview. That's why, like, with our job, we get to travel a lot. Obviously, I'm not working with John anymore. I'm in a different location, but John can attest. Last year, how much was I gone?
Yeah, that was interesting. A lot of the solo episodes are a result of that. So,
and it's cool because I got to enhance my worldview, and that's what we got to do as gamers, honestly. And that's what's going to keep gaming fun. Because all of us have hit the point where we've had burnout. Look at me when I went Breath of the Wild immediately into Tears of the Kingdom, no break, full 100% on both.
Yeah, that's I would say not sociopathy. I think that's active, like, homicidal behavior.
And when we experience burnout, we kind of give up we give up what we enjoy. So, like, that's for me been the biggest thing of the show. That's been the biggest moment of the show, is the fact that I still have my view, my biases, of course, JRPGs for life, but I've added to it with recommendations from John, with recommendations from fellow friends who listen to the show, and from you guys as commenters and listeners. Like, you have given us a lot back, and I appreciate that. And I mean, if this is episode 100 and I'm feeling this good right now, I can't wait to see what 200 feels like.
Man, hope the world survives long enough to make it to 200. But yeah, I think very well put, very eloquent. And just to kind of answer my own question I posed to you, I think, yes, this has done a lot to push us outside of our various comfort zones when it comes to just things we appreciate or aesthetics we prefer or games we just even like to play. However, I would also like to think that because of my ability to push myself out of certain comfort zones, it has made me more adamant and vehement and sharper with my opinions on certain things. Because when I sit down to play a game, I'd never go into a game wanting to dislike it. I never go into a game actively holding grudges or biases against them. I try to just have fun, because video games by themselves as a concept are toys to be played with, and they should be fun. And then when things happen that aren't fun, I'm like, okay, this has only strengthened my resolve and hardened my stances on certain things. And I think that's okay. Because you said you cleared out 74 games in your backlog.
Mm-hmm.
I realized maybe I don't play a whole lot of new games in that amount of volume. What I have done instead really has just refined my palette to be like, it's the guy from Ratatouille. It's the easiest example I can think. It's like, I don't like video games. I love video games. If I do not love it, I get rid of it. So I think just having the more rounded experiences with other genres and franchises has only done me a world of good to understand why certain things appeal to me and why I play the games I play and why I still find them fun. So, yeah.
So, are you ready for our first recommendation for each other of the year? Ladies and gentlemen, this outro is outroing very well. I'm
and
pitching,
you like this. This is good for you.
Look, I'm going to pitch you this.
The only podcast where we tell you how much you enjoy us. Okay, yes, continue.
So, a game coming out that you know is going to be a day one buy for you. What this year? Name one.
Sonic and Shadow Generations.
Would you like me to play that one and
sure.
actually play through a Sonic game?
Sure. I mean, yeah.
So I will.
I'm sorry for keeping cutting you off, but yeah, like that game's a re-release of Sonic Generations, which is one of the most acclaimed Sonic games in the past decade and a half. And now there's going to be more stuff added to it, and it's going to play on PS5 and Xbox and PC and shit. Yeah, I would recommend that one. Yes.
So I'm going to pick that one up, and I will play it through. If it has multiple endings, I will seek out every ending. My challenge to you. So my game for you. It's already out. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink.
I was going to say, if you recommended Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I would have slapped you through this computer.
Go pick it up. Play it. So for you and your attention span of RPG-ness, 20 hours.
That's not bad. That sounds like a regular video game.
Now, if you want to do all of the additional stuff, like you get hooked, I think they said like 100 hours. But if you're just like story, enjoying the combat and everything, 20.
Okay.
So you got to play that one. Pick it up and play it. I will pick up Sonic and play it. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time you're hearing this, and we're going to implement this. So once every 3 months, because if we did this once every month, it would be probably not good for our video game health.
Yeah, it would probably be not good for even just my overall health. So,
oh, thanks.
No, I'm just saying, like, I don't do 100 push-ups and sit-ups and 100 lunges each leg when I'm playing video games. I usually just sit on my ass. So, yeah.
Well, I'm getting older, and I don't want to get out of shape because as I get older, I'm not going to be able to do basketball as much, football as much, the things I used to enjoy there. Also, not having to work out every day mandatorily. Yeah.
Can lead to some interesting bodily changes. Your body is changing, and here's why.
Yep. So that's kind of my way of making sure I stay in shape.
Yeah. All right. Cool. But anyway, yeah, every 3 months we're going to just do this. Kind of like what we did in the first season, where we just recommend games back and forth.
Yep. But less frequent, because I think because we were doing it like every episode, we were failing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the reason. That's the only reason.
Oh, man. With that, thank you all very much for our first episode of February, listening to your new video game news, brought to you by Games with John and James. Copyright pending.
I don't think you can trademark a podcast. We'll find out.
Mental copyright pending.
Yeah, DMCA. Yeah, that's the one.
So with that, you know where to find us, at Games with John and James on TikTok and Instagram, Facebook, we're there as well, my personal profile. So I post regularly. We are doing our best to keep content going. We have made promises for a live show. We're still working the kinks out of that. We're narrowing down our platform, but when that comes out, you got to make sure to stay tuned to that. John has been doing a phenomenal job also posting over to YouTube, so you can listen to our past episodes and our present episodes simultaneously on YouTube. So if that's where you prefer to listen to your shit, Listen to us on YouTube.
Yeah. I as part of a New Year's resolution, and I know it's February already, but yeah, I have said I want to devote more time to my projects. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure to try and elevate. I'm trying to step our game up collectively, and I want to help any way I can. So
I was going to say, this is more than a project now. We're over 2 years in the making. This is a job. A fun job.
if I do this podcast, maybe I can start another podcast, and then I can do another one.
Oh, goodness. But as always, thank you so much for listening. I'm James.
I'm John.
And this has been the best podcast about video games, Games with John and James. I'm going to self-promote us because why not? Listen to your number one podcast. 100 episodes, going strong.
It's your number one boys, John and James. And this has been our 100th episode. We'll see you next week for 101. And hopefully that won't be a solo episode. Holy crap.
Bye, everybody.
Peace out.